What's happening?
Johnny Kitchens, live.
What is good?
First time, buddy.
So good to have you back on, man. This is the 5th time having you back on Expert Mentors.
Wow.
You're if not number one, you're right there. I think Alex might have you. Pioc might have you.
All right. I'll up my game a little, maybe bring some more value. I'll work on that.
Yeah.
See what I can do for you.
Well, welcome everybody, man, tuning in, episode 260 of Expert Mentors Live. And this has been a fun ride. You know, the Expert Mentor conversations really, allow us within the Honey Badger Nation to dive into so many incredible leaders within the industry, not just alone inside of the Honey Badger, excuse me, inside of Honey Badger Nation, but also in the industry as a whole. And
I got the joke out there, I see.
There you go. Shit, you got me choked up, Curt.
You take your breath away. I know I'm doing something good, brother.
No, it's it's just been a fun ride with so many amazing people, and it says a lot about you, right? 5th go around to have on, and definitely you're always on the radar for our team, because every time we get together, you really embody what these Expert Mentor conversations are all about. And I know today's going to be no different as we really dive into the agent attraction and being able to attract agents to you without like dangling rev share carrot, right? And really what else is into it for them. And one of the things before we jump in, Curt, most people don't know what it is until they experience it, right? We can sit here and talk to them about what it is, what they think it is, and get, because we're excited. We're trying to transfer that energy and excitement to them, but they just can't comprehend it. Most just like, what are you talking about? This is like you're speaking a different language to me.
Yeah.
I had a gentleman, I had a client just this week. He had recruited his first agent over. And so he never really been able to experience anything with RevShare. Well, he opened up because he was talking to another agent, and it was just kind of talking through, hey, there's RevShare. We got a cool little app. Let me show you. Popped up, had like $450 in there, and that might not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but when you see that for the first time, and you're like, holy shit, that just paid my cell phone bill and my insurance.
Yep.
What else is possible, right? Then it starts to become real when you're able to start to see that and experience it. So I think, obviously being able to attract without talking about that, but when you can show them and not these monster rev share, right? Because that doesn't even seem real.
It's overwhelming for most people. Mm-hmm.
It is, but like that example, like $452, like wow. Right? Like it's just there. Like you didn't I just recruited you, came over. Hey, I believe in this company. I believe in what we're doing. I'd like to work together. Come, let's work together. And then you pop that up and see it. When you've never experienced that before, it's a game changer. Yeah.
I just did a video, and I hate to sound like I'm duplicating what you just said. I don't want to repeat what you said, but the stories are so similar. Jamie, a girl that I hired as a sales manager for our team, so that way she can do that, so I don't have to do it anymore, which is great. So you hire people to do the things that you don't want to do anymore. So I have her on the daily, day to day, and she's like, listen. I love doing this. I'm passionate about it. I'm a great coach. I'm a great team leader. And I said, you are. And she was running another team that had 100 agents on it, and at another brokerage. And I brought her here. She didn't come here because of EXP. She came here because of the opportunity to work with me and Mark and to be part of our climate and our environment, which was great. So there was a reason other than just money. But I try to tell her, listen, you're going to add. I don't recruit. I don't want to be that Curt. You do all that and just bring the people, and I'll coach, train, teach them how to do it, and we'll make it great. And I said, okay, we can do that. But what I want you to understand, Jamie, is that you're going to accidentally, like it or not, you're going to attract more agents to our team. So when they're coming here because of you, you're going to get paid on this, because that's how the company works. They share the revenue that's paid off the top, and they share it. So it's sharing the revenue, which is what we do in order, because you're a partner in the company. You own part of the company. She's like, no, I don't. I'm like, you do. It's like you said, they don't want to hear all that. Yeah. So then when I talked the revenue share, she didn't want to hear it. So I don't even talk about it with her. Well, what happened was, right, she's brought 4 or 5 agents now to the team in the last couple of months, and she just got a revenue share check for $370. She came busting in my door. I got $370 today. Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, oh my God, somebody put $370 in there. It's a mistake. She goes to Kim, our accountant. She's like, Kim, I just want to be upfront. I know I'm newer to the team. I got $370 or something. I'm not on a commission. I didn't get this. I didn't earn it. And she's like, oh, let me see. No, it's not. Oh, wait a minute. Open up this. And she opens it up on her phone. She's like, you didn't even set this up. She's like, no. She's here, click. That's your revenue share. She's like, what is that? Is that thing Curt talks about? And she's like, yeah. So then she explained it to her. She kept running. I got $370. And she was going nuts. She goes, oh my God. I called my husband right before I came in here. And I told him, we're going out for dinner, baby. We're going to have a big dinner. It's going to be great. And she was so excited. And I was laughing, like you said, $370. She goes, every month we try to pick out a cool restaurant. If I'm going to get this every month, we can go to the coolest restaurant. And that was her thing. We get a night out away from the kids and we get to go out and really have a great time on the company at $370. Yeah. So it was just neat, right? Yeah, and you forget because ours gets big and we collect a lot of money. But yeah, the extra $1,000 a month to somebody, 12 grand a year, free money. Like you said, $1,000. Does that pay, I don't know, most of their house payment or half of it or part of it?
Yeah.
Does it pay for their cars and their insurance and their electric bill and their grocery? I mean, look at inflation today. Extra grand, that's certainly what offsets that for your dailies, right? Your monthly costs. You know, everything's $1,000. So if you can get that, how cool is that? But what we want to talk about today, Johnny, is the fact that revenue share is awesome. And like you said, people don't understand EXP and all the value, everything you get from it, which is insane. The truth is they don't get that. Once they do, once you see it, you can't unsee it. I know Jay started that a long time ago, and we all and still embody that. But I think sometimes we forget because we've been here for 5-6 years now. So we forget that it's that exciting. So we talk about the things where we make the most money. People have watched us for the last 4, 5, 6 years. Oh, you're making money. Yeah, I know. You guys do this, whatever, and you recruit, and you're like, look, why don't we do this? Why don't we talk about how people we can help working in our brokerage, which somebody has to bring them in. So I want to be the person to help you make the best transition. And if I can do that, I won't talk about revenue share, not one single time. And if I could show you why the value is here without you getting any revenue share, without you, having to recruit any people, if I could show you that and show you how to attract people to our company because of what they get, which is good for them, and you get nothing, would that be okay? And they all say yes, which is really kind of right. But then they all go, well, shouldn't I get paid something? Which is really funny because that's the second thing they say. But they start out there. So what happens is, like you said, we get excited about, everything. So I said to somebody once, they're like, well, Curt, you're on social now and you're an old guy and look at how you dress. No, look at your hair now, So I get laughed at of what I dress like and do. And as I have social media, and I'm an old guy, right? I didn't even have a Facebook 5 years ago. GoGo made me get one, right? And now I have this huge following. Well, when you do that, I told them, I said, if you had the coolest thing and somebody gave you a free car every year, here's a free car every year, they make your payment every month, here's a free car, you can have like a $125,000 car. You can have this really cool car, right? A $200,000 car, holy smoke. If you could have that, would you not get on the rooftops and tell everyone, oh my God, you come over here, you get a free car, it's so cool. You would probably get excited. At least you'd do that for your closest 5, 10, 15, 25, 30, 40 friends. Right? And if they're in real estate, you'd really tell them because like, oh my God, you get a free car. You get a free house. Holy smokes, I get a free house. They pay my house payment every month. It's $3,000. Oh my God. When you tell it, when you shout it from the rooftop, and they all say yes. So, well, that's what the revenue share gives you. But I don't want to talk about that because you don't want to talk about that. And then they're like, I'm confused. It's like, look, let's take all that out of them. Show you all the reasons you should be here. Nothing to do with revenue share. And if you could learn as an agent at EXP to have these conversations without rev share, don't even let that come up in the conversation. You'll see me at the very, very end of what I show you on a handful of slides. The very last one does mention the fact that, and we get that too. But if that's not even anything in the conversation, I can show you a whole bunch of reasons why being here is exactly where you want to be compared to anywhere else on the planet in real estate. And if I can show that, there's the value. So that's what I want to kind of talk about today,
cool.
Johnny.
Let's dive in with it for sure.
All right, so let's just look at a couple of these slides, right? I think I'm wearing the same jacket. Yeah,
looking good.
So the first question you want to start asking agents, well, I know about EXP, and you said it yourself, Johnny, at the beginning. I already know all about EXP. Then you can either ask them one, great, tell me what you know. Well, you're the recruiting company, you're that pyramid company, you're the company that just, you guys don't care about selling real estate. You're that company that doesn't care about clients, you only care about agents, all those things. I hear all that all the time. I'm like, okay, oh, I like that. Okay, yeah, I've heard that one before too. Yep, I've heard of that. Do not shy away from these. Don't you dare say, well, but or so. Those are all losing propositions because they're just excuses. Somebody starts off with a well, that means they're coming up with an excuse. They're thinking of it. If they start off with so, they don't even have the excuse yet. They got to make one up. And if they start off with but, that's their excuse. I would, but it's just an excuse, right? So if you do this, when they say these things and you try to take on these things all at once and you attack each objection because you've been taught your whole life, right, John? What do we teach? Objection. Isolate objection, overcome objection. This is not closing the deal on a house. You're not closing a deal here, guys. You're giving them an opportunity to have a better place to do the business in real estate that they do. That's all you're doing. And if they see that as a valuable opportunity, they'll join you. If they don't, they won't. And either answer is okay, but you have to be able to ask the right questions. So stop attacking the objections as objections, or if you think they're conditions, they're not. They're not. They're things that they're supposed to say. It's walking into the furniture store going, Johnny, you say, hey, how you doing, folks? Just looking, stop, don't sell me anything. Everyone wants to buy, no one wants to be sold. We get it, right? So that's what they do. That's all they're doing. Well, you're that pyramid company, I can't work there. Then why are we having a conversation? If you really feel that way, why are we talking? They don't feel that way. That's their, I'm just looking, right? That's all that is. It's a defense mechanism that we teach them to have. Well, you guys ask them, what else have you heard? That's all you've heard. God, I've heard so many other things. Have you heard this? Well, yeah. Okay, well, tell me what else you've heard. Got to make them comfortable because they think they're going to say something that's going to offend you. They think they're going to upset you. Remember, anything they say can and will be used against them in the court of closing. Let's close it with their words, not your words, okay? It's really simple, but I need your words, John. So I have to ask you, well, John, let me ask you this. At the place you're at right now, do you own your business or do you rent it? Right? And I don't care what they said about EXP. I want to know because the more they tell me, the more I know how easy it is to overcome this.
Exactly.
So first thing I want to do is I want to know, okay, what are the things you heard? Okay, great. I love that. Well, let me ask you the first question. Do you own your business or do you rent it? And they're like, what do you mean? So, well, here, the question really straight up, do you own it or do you rent it? And they're like, I don't understand. Okay. The truth is, if you're an owner of your business, then you should actually own it. So if you work for Remax, Keller, Berkshire, Sotheby's, anyone, I don't care, pick anyone you want. If you work for them, how many homes do you have to sell, John, before they actually give you an ownership stake in the company? They give you extra ownership. Yeah. No such
all
thing.
Of them.
yeah. All my sales, and they never give you money. It's not even an opportunity. They're like, well, I can't, or they don't, or well, I guess I don't know. So you're right, because you can never have that. No matter how many homes you sell this year, next year, the next year, it doesn't matter. They're never going to give you ownership of the company, right? Now, remember, it's got to be their words, right? So you can't own it. Now, if you're in your business, did you get into this real estate business, John, to work for yourself and to own your own business? Or did you get into this so you could hopefully make some friends and not make any money, but just make friends and work for somebody else to help them make money? Which one was the reason you joined?
Right.
Oh, you got into real estate to make money for yourself, to be your own owner, to be an entrepreneur, to have that spirit, to have that feeling of, hey, I kind of own something of my own, it's my business. Did you get in it for that reason? I have yet to have an agent tell me no.
Right.
Right. And I always say to them, sometimes they even are like, well, I don't. So, well, let me ask it to you straight. John, did you come here because you didn't have any friends? And you said, oh my God, if I got into real estate, I'll have a million friends. I'm just a lonely person. Or did you get into it to make money? Because it's not a bad thing to say, I got into real estate so I can make money doing it, because that's what I do for a living. And when people tell me that it's what I do for a living, I'm like, yeah, well, you sold 4 homes last year. Oh, you're not the breadwinner. That's good. So your spouse or your parents or somebody else covers the cost of all your bills. And you can say that. Be careful. Don't say it condescending. Say it in a question. So is that what you're telling me? So, all right, you don't have to be the breadwinner. So any money you bring in, that's just like fun money because you're not paying bills with that, right?
Right.
And you can say that and ask that question, because when you ask that question, it prompts a response out of them. And sometimes the response is a gulp, because they are the breadwinner or supposed breadwinner, or they're supposed to be the breadwinner. Well, they ain't making no money. 4 homes, I don't care what you're selling, you ain't making no money. So this is where you have to go to get to understand. If you don't own your business and treat it like one, you're never going to have success. So let me ask you this. Here at EXP, one of the things I found when I was looking at this company was the fact that I could have ownership. They're an actual agent-owned company. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Right.
Like, you've heard people say, oh, we're owned by our employee-owned. Like, I don't even know what that means. Well, here, it's really simple. The company says, hey, multiple ways they'll give you ownership. One of the ways is they have an agent equity program right out of the gate, the day you start, John, that you can actually get money, free money, ownership, free shares of stock ownership in the company when you close every deal. You can opt in for the agent equity program. And what the company does is says, okay, great. Here, you can take 5% of any commission. So let's say you made $5,000, $250. You ain't gonna miss it. Comes off the top, and they actually buy shares of ownership, stock shares of the company that are yours. They put into your stock account that they set up for you. You don't even have to do it. So that's cool because I didn't know how to do any of this. And what's really cool is they do it for you and they give you 5% of whatever you had. You buy stock with it, automatic. They do it for you. You're buying your own company stock. That's it. You don't have to worry about being a stockbroker or learning what stocks are what. You're not trading stocks. All you're doing is saying, yep, I'll take that free stock ownership. Thank you. And they bump it with a 5% discount. So they add 5% more stock purchase onto whatever you get. So if you have $5,000 worth of commissions, $250 is 5%. You got $250 worth of shares. So let's say they were $10, right? You got 25 of them. Well, guess what? They give you another 5% on top of that for free. The company matches and gives it to you. You ever have a 401k or hear of them at other places and they'll match you 1, 2, 3, 4%? Our company gives you 5. Pretty cool. So you get free money for your money. So if you're saving money, the company says, we want to make you so independently wealthy that when you retire, yep, I said that really crazy word, retired real estate, because real estate agents don't retire, they die, because you have to sell until you die, because you don't get paid a dime if you stop selling houses. So you never go to retirement parties for real estate agents or go to their funerals because they're 90, still selling homes, or they're a greeter at Walmart. That's what sucks, because you work for 30, 40 years selling real estate and there's no retirement. That's what's really tough. This allows you to have that. So that's one way to get money here, that the company pays you over time just for being here by giving you ownership in the company. Ownership means you get more money. I'll explain to that in a second. The other piece that you get here, more ownership. I asked them, I said, well, how many ways can I get ownership? They said, I can give it to you for free 5 ways. Because you're going to give me free ownership 5 ways. The one way you bought some, right? 5% commission, you can buy actual shares, and then they'll give you more for free. I'm like, love that. Anybody's going to give me free? I love that. The other piece is, why don't you do your first sale, right? And I wanted to put you on a path that we call an icon agent. Well, your first sale, when you close one deal, no matter how much it is, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000, $1 million sale, whatever it is, you close your first sale, the company gives you $200 worth of shares of stock ownership in the company. They give you those stocks. They're yours. They're free. You got them automatic. They're called awarded stock. They give it to you. You get to keep it. It's yours. Now, anything they give you like that, you can't sell it the next day because they can manipulate the stock market. So they say, great, you have a vesting period. So you got to wait a couple of years, and then you can sell it, trade it, keep it, do whatever you want. But it's there. You get it for free. Now I told you, I'm going to give you this free, Johnny. You can't touch it for the next 24 months. Are you okay with that? It's free. Sure, right? Piece of cake. So you're like, yeah, I'll take free money. I'm into that. But it's ownership of the company. So I've got shares of ownership. And it's going to be important in a second. I'll explain to you even more why. Well, then the next thing is we have a cap. $2.6 million in volume, you are now at your cap. So you cap here. So is your average sales price 300,000, 200,000, 400,000, 500,000? Let's just call it 300,000. So your 300,000 is your average sales price. So you're in an average community or average setting. So that means I would have to sell 8.5, so we'll call it 9 houses at 300,000, which would be $2.7 million in volume at 300,000 a pop, right? 9 deals. So if I sell 9, I've now capped, I now get 100% commission. Everybody likes to get 100% commission, right? People go to these flat fee brokerages, Johnny. I scratch my head, but they do. It's just because nobody shared this with them. You can work here and get 100% too, right? Matter of fact, you can even get all your money back. I'll cover that in a second. But the truth is, what happens is your first sale, you get a couple $100 of ownership, shares of ownership in the company, free. Then the next thing is you hit that cap, that 2.7 million. In this case, and if you're 300,000 average, it's 9 deals. They give you $400 in ownership stock shares. $400. Here you go. It's yours. Congratulations. Instead of throwing you a baseball cap that says capper, no, they don't bother with that. What they do is say, how about I just give you freaking more money in ownership? Would that be all right? Most people probably think that's better than a baseball cap. I do. I'm weird that way. I came into real estate to make money. I know that's weird, but I did. So what happened is I made a lot of friends. Wasn't even looking for friends, but I made them anyway. Why? Because good people attract good people. Well, what happened was I got stock from anything I bought. I get additional free stock. Then I got stock just because I closed my first deal. Then I got stock shares ownership more because I hit my cap, which I'm going to do anyway. 2.7, 2.6 million. That was I'm going to do that anyway. So now I capped and I get 100% commission. That was cool. Well, then they said, all right, we'll tell you what, we're putting you on path to be an icon agent. Well, if I put you on path to become an icon agent, what happens then? Well, guess what? When I hit my cap, if I do 20 transactions beyond that, they give me my entire cap, $16,000 back in actual stock ownership of the company. And I was like, wait a minute, what? I said, I do that every year anyway. I do that in my sleep. And they're like, I know. And I said, wait a minute. So this company is designed for baller agents, where if you're a big time agent, I would be crazy in the sense of financially crazy not to do it here if they're going to give me all my money back. So now I get all my money. I keep all my money. And matter of fact, they give me my money. They give me stock ownership shares of the company. I own more of the company, and I have all this free stock in the company. So I own them. I own the actual company, and I have more shares of it, and then it becomes worth more money. I think I kind of like this. This is not a bad thing. I think I'm in. So, because it's a retirement plan. This is not something I'm using to get rich quick. There's no get rich quick. This is called having sustainability within your career so I can retire one day. I love that.
Yeah.
So
it didn't get rich quick. It's get rich for sure. Get rich
yeah,
right.
Get rich right. Get rich for sure. Exactly. I like that. You're right, John. So I was like, wait a minute. So I get stock every time I close the deal. I get the stock. I get a 5% kicker. Then at my first sale, I get stock every year. And then my third way I get stock is I just hit my cap to 2.6 million. I get more free stock. Fourth way I get it is if I do 20 more transactions and do that, the company has a way for me to get all my money back. Yes. And holy smokes, this is insane. Now I have more ownership. Well, what happens when you own a company, John? If the company's doing well, isn't there a reason that you shouldn't share some of that money?
You get to benefit in that as well.
Owners have benefits. Well, what if you could be the owner, John, and you could own the company and you didn't have to buy in and pay for the company to start it? What if I said, but there is a fee? What if I told you it's $85 a month, John? For $85 a month, I'll give you all that. Is that a fair trade? $85? And now you get all this ownership in the company. Now you're a partner. So you can't say you didn't pay. People are like, oh, you get it. You don't have to pay. Well, now you pay $85. So I paid $85 and I become an owner of the company on all these 4 different ways in the company that I got it. Well, there's a 5th way. When I get all this, I get excited. And like I said before, I start screaming from the roof, hey, I own the company. They gave me ownership. And then I look at my stock portfolio going, I don't know anything about stock. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to trade. They're like, right, don't. Leave it be. You're fine. You get this for free. I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to do anything. I'm like, no. Do I have to trade it? No. Do I have to know anything about stock? No. It's yours. You own it. It's your retirement, Curt. Talk to me back in a couple years, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years from now. Come see me and I'll show you how much money you got there. And then you can cash it all in if you want. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm like, I like that idea. Well, I said, yeah, but I thought somebody told me there's 5 ways to do that. So well, there is. The 5th way is when you're screaming from the rooftops, this is so cool. And you go tell all your friends. Here's the truth. Nobody goes out and tells 1,000 friends, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 friends. Nobody does that. What we do though, is we go talk to the, 5 or 10 or 20, 30, 40, 50 of our friends that we have in real estate. Because everybody who does any type of business is doing deals with a lot of other agents. So you start to become known in your own communities. Well, I'm sure you know 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 agents. Well, what happens is, for me personally, yeah, so I knew about 50 agents really good that were good friends of mine. And I told them, hey, you're doing the same thing there. I'm doing it here. I just get to get paid more money. We make the same amount of money. 3% is 3%. Nobody cares what color your business card is. I mean, John, if I do it at Keller, I do it at Remax, I do it at EXP, I do it at Century 21, I do it at Sotheby's. Nobody cares, right? The client chooses you. That's who they buy a house with, or that's who they list the house with. They don't care who you're. I've never had a person in my entire life. I've had agents or clients ask me, oh, what brokerage do you work with? It's your own brokerage, right? Everybody just assumes it's my own brokerage. They always do. They always have. But the truth is I've always worked for a brokerage, right? So you have a name of a brokerage and they really don't care, but they'll ask you once in a blue moon. But I've never had anybody in my entire career, Johnny, 20 years, I've never had anybody say, Curt, I was going to list my house with you, but damn, you don't have a hot air balloon on your card. I can't list with you. You don't own the gold jacket. Oh, dude, nope, can't list with you, right? But agents actually believe this crap, and they'll go, well, I'm at, and I'm not picking on anybody. Well, I'm at Sotheby's. So if I'm at Sotheby's, that's why I sell the most homes here in Sotheby's. And I always say, well, that's interesting because you're not even the #1 agent in that city. So how is that even possible? How can anybody buy or sell a house in your city that doesn't use Sotheby's? Because they actually say this stuff. And I'm like, are Are you really hearing what you're saying? Sometimes they just need you to say it back to them. Remember we talked about their words, not your words, right? So I'm going to wrap them up in their own words. But when I ask them these questions, so how can you get all this ownership in your company? Oh, you can't. Right. But what if you could here, which you actually can? Because every single agent that you go tell, oh my God, it's amazing, you can have all this, and you tell those agents, come on over here and you can have this too, and they join the company because of you, the company asks them, who is it that brought you into the company and how did you get here? And they're going to say, oh, it was John Kitchens. Oh, it was Curt Shewell. Oh, it was Mary Jones, right? Great. Well, when they put that in there, then the company says, hey, congratulations, John. You did such a great job letting somebody else know that you're an owner of a company. And because you own this company and you brought more people to build this company that you own, you should be rewarded for that. So what the company does is they give you another few $100. They give you $400 more of actual stock ownership in the company. Here you go. Congratulations. Way to go. Here's for you. They get $200 when they close that first deal of ownership, stock shares. You get $400. It's crazy. They give me this. So I've done this 50 times because I have 50 of my friends that came here. Well, I have another couple hundred friends in real estate because we all know each other. Well, I helped those agents explain to the rest of those agents, there's other couple hundred, that hey, it's really cool here. And if you join with Mary Sue and John's friend, Tony, and then you join because of that, what's really cool is that we can all partner with you to help you grow your business and do everything we can and share and collaborate and all these fun things. But you get all that ownership. And so did they. So the company rewards John for me helping John bring those other friends that we both have, because John's a friend and we have circles of friends. Well, we help those friends. And then we help those friends' friends. And this is what happens. And the company grows. Well, if I'm an owner in the company, my shares of ownership grow, just like yours do, John. And the company gives it to us for free. It's insane. Now, let me show you, what does that mean in dollar value? So if we look at this, think about this. This is one of the most important days. You know what day that is, John? February 16th, 2021?
What day?
I love that. See, this is really cool. It's a really special day. February 16th of 2021 was such a special day because that was the day that EXP's stock split. What does that mean? I didn't know either. I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. It's split. And it's a split in half. What does that mean? They're like, no, Curt, in stock world, that means they doubled your shares. I'm like, wait a minute, what? They did what? They said, yeah, the stock grew so high, off the price of it, they split it. So knocked it back down to a normal price, but gave you twice the shares. So now if it goes up even $1, $2, $5, $10, $20 again, just like it's already done, now you have twice as many shares growing. And I'm like, oh, I am loving this. So I started to learn a little bit how the stock market works. I was like, this is really cool. Then I got to go to NASDAQ and actually ring the bell, and a whole nother crazy fun thing that is neat, John, because you don't even get to put that on your bucket list, because you can't just say, I'm going to go ring the bell. You don't get to do that. Right? So what a neat thing, because I'm an owner of a company who is traded, on the NASDAQ. We are a publicly traded company. So they give us these shares, and it's all public information how that works. This date was a very monumental landmark day because no other brokerage who's created any of this type of stuff that gives away ownership in it has ever done this. We have. It's kind of cool. So let me give you an example. I got Josh, one of my agents. It's his first year. It was first year at EXP Realty. He got $53,000 for the stock awards. Now, he's a pretty productive agent. He sells a lot. And he's like, Curt, put me in and everything. I want as much ownership as I can get. And I go, amen, brother. This is what I'm talking about. Well, he's done really great. His stock portfolio, I just asked him last week. I said, can you show me how much it's worth? It's worth $53,000. I'm like, dude, you are killing it. You know what he said? I had no idea.
As always.
Now, I got a better one for you. Check this out. This guy tells me, hey, Curt, I'm thinking about, going to open my own brokerage. A buddy of mine's trying to get me to open my own brokerage. I said, okay, Thomas, tell me about that. He says, yeah, I think I have a good chance to go because I didn't really attract a lot of agents. I've only brought 4 agents to the company. So if I leave, I don't really lose anything. I said, well, how much stock do you have, dude? You are a beast of an agent. You're an icon. You're a killer. And he's like, dude, I don't pay it. None of that's worth anything. I said, yeah, probably not. Why don't you click on your little button on your phone? And he's like, what button is it? He had no idea. I said, click your button. It'll tell you how much you have there in stock. And he clicked on it. He turned his phone like sideways. You turn it straight to sideways. He goes, no friggin' way. And I went, way. He's like, no, you're no way. I go, dude, yeah. He's like, I got $85,000. I said, yeah, why don't you leave it? Just walk away. You can just leave it, not have it, and you can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's like, when did I get this? This is what he asked me. And I said, I look at it, I said, dude, I showed you the way it works. But again, nobody remembers everything you tell them. John, you know that better than anyone. You're one of the best coaches I've ever met. So you know how that works. But they remember how you made them feel. And they're like, I feel something with John. I'm going to keep working with John. That's why I always came back to you myself. And you've taught me so many things. Well, what I've learned, one of the things you taught me was when you're talking to agents, talk to them like you're talking to a fourth grade student. Because if you're talking to like a fourth grade student, not a 4-year-old, a fourth grade student, somebody who's intellectually enough to understand, if you really lay it out for them, but you got to lay it out for them really simple so they can really follow. Well, once I showed him this, that you click a stupid little button and you see your money, you know what he did? He ran around going, look at this, look at this. And he's running around the rooftops. I'm like, how funny. So what's really cool, he attracted 4 people, and he's been here for like 3 years. He attracted 4 people in 3 years because he's never really talked about it. Well, guess what? He's brought 6 people in the last 3 months. 6. He now has 10. So I started laughing, but I didn't want to show the 10 because then it sounds like he's doing, no, he did this with 4. And that's a fact. So it's pretty wild. So he's like, dude, I have been in real estate for 10 years before he came here. So he's been in real estate for 13 years. He goes, I never got a dime when I left those other places. I said, right. I said, you want to walk away from 85,000? He's like, no. I said, I didn't think so. I go, you're a smart guy. I said, now let's start building your dynasty. And that's why he's added 6 more people since. Yeah. All about this. He just shows this. And it's like, guys, look, it's a retirement plan, right? If you ask agents, what's your retirement plan? They don't have one because there's no such thing. And I've had people tell me. Go ahead.
Or they think, Curt, that they could build something that's of value to sell. And the reality is that, you know, when you build any type of endeavor or business around a personality, which real estate is, because it needs to connect and build trust, right? So they build with the name, and they're like, well, you need to build a company with not your name. Well, it's hard to build trust, to build a brand that people trust, but they trust a person fast, especially in an industry that it'll always come down to a decision of trust. And so when they start thinking like, well, I can build this and I'll have something to sell. The reality is that it's not valuable, because when you take you out of it, you start subtracting things. And most agents don't have documented SOPs. They don't have, a database that they're proactively managing that they can predictably say, without my personality, that we can consistently close X number of deals, things that make business or certain assets in the business valuable.
Yep.
But even so, Curt, here's what I tell people. We were top 10 in the world for Caldwell Banker in Lawton, Oklahoma. And really the foundation that became everything that we were doing out of that office is what they built, Kinder Reese Coaching, that became NAEA.
Yep.
Was everything that we did out of that office. And if I was to tell you what we sold that office for, you would laugh. Mm-hmm. You would laugh. And I wasn't 100% owner.
Right.
And so even my percentage that I get, I'm going to tell you, because we even put it on terms to pay out. Bro, I can't even go to dinner for what I get per month. Yep. On that. And so you're better off having a different plan to be able to retire from. And what I always say, what Glenn was able to pioneer with this and this model, and there's a couple formable competitors, I believe, that have popped up that have ran with the same model.
Well, they ran with the same idea of the model. They couldn't run with the same. They changed it.
They did.
Yeah.
But what it's given, though, Curt, it's given an actual exit strategy in an industry that doesn't have one.
Correct. It showed the Me Too's, right? You need the pioneer, you need the founder, you need somebody to create it. And once it's created, it's like, oh, I can do the Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. Well, what that does is prove concept. Netflix, right? They're not upset with Hulu, right? Because Hulu's never going to be Netflix. I'm not upset with. Here's what's going to happen, John, and this, I get so many people mad at me for this, but it's true. All of your franchise model real estate brokerages are going away. They're going to be gone. They're happening right now. And if you don't believe me, you don't have to believe me. Don't believe me. Look it up for yourself. No, Curt, well, you think that Dave Liniger from Remax isn't smart? No, I think he's extremely smart. I think his hands are tied because he doesn't have a cloud model. He doesn't have an equity share model. He doesn't have any ownership of the agents that work there. He has franchisees who buy franchises. That puts him at the bottom of a pyramid.
Yeah.
They take all the risk and all the cost. And what's happening right now is nobody's coming into the brick and mortar buildings because technology changes everything. Like it or not, technology is the thing that changes everything. It's happened for the last 120 years. Coldwell Banker started the franchise model, John, in 1906. It's 120 years old, right? That's how long this has been going on this way. Well, these franchises are getting inundated with technology. Yeah, but we have technology too, Curt. We have an app. You're not a tech company running on a tech platform. We run out of the metaverse. This is how this works. It's going away. Zillow didn't exist. 2004, they started, right? They didn't even exist before that. Zillow's not even 20, they're 20 years old later this year. So think about this, guys. Who's the number one name in real estate? Zillow. Why? They're a cloud tech company. So it's not even just the real estate brokerages, John. It's the cloud environment. It's all cloud companies. Who are the top companies in the world? Amazon. They're a cloud retailer. Number one retailer in the world, right? Uber, right? Rideshare, number one cloud-based. They started in 2009, by the way, same year EXP started. And so did Venmo, and so did Pinterest, and so did what's that? Airbnb. So did all these companies, right? It's huge. The only two that are older than that are three, I guess. Zillow, 2004. Then you got Netflix, 1997, and you got Amazon in 1994. So Amazon turns 30 this year. Most people don't know that. Netflix turns 27 this year. People think that they're around for 10 years because they knocked out Blockbuster. Well, it's because they had to set the foundation. EXP's already set the foundation, and now it paved the way, John, like you're saying, for all the next generation brokerages. What are they? They're all cloud-based. Everybody opening up. Nobody's opening brick and mortar today. They're opening cloud-based, John, and you hit it right on the head. So all the Me Too's, I'm all about it because it proved concept. So everything. Uber they needed Lyft, and now you have options. But everybody goes there. How many people are calling up for cabs? You don't.
I mean, Coke needs Pepsi, right? And to continue to, because the reason that we need formal competitors in our business, in our industry, is because it keeps us continuing to innovate, right? Continue to constantly add value, right? Continue to improve and not get complacent. And that's what, you look at a lot of these legacy brands, their hands are tied. They really are. Their hands are tied. And if they were to unravel it, so I think what you'll see is, I think you'll just start to see, you're not going to see a sharp drop. You're just going to see a lot of the legacy agents as they die out, those brands will die out. There's iconic, people that nostalgia that buy brands for that reason, that they think they can do things with it. So there'll always be an existence and a place for that. But where the innovators, where the people that are always trying to focus on growth, and that's where the innovation and the challenges and the changes and everything come into play to allow it to grow. You're not going to be able to just hit that exponential growth with the legacy type of brands. I don't believe, unless, something, comes where they implement something.
Can't because of their franchise agreements. You're right, Jim.
Tied, man. Their hands are tied.
They have 4 partners in there. But the difference is when you can be a cloud style, then you can offer equity, you can offer ownership, you can offer the agents to be part of it. And that's the biggest key, right? We own over 70% of this company, the agents, right? So we control what happens in this company. And that's the thing that I tell people, the more agents we have, the more the ownership shifts more and more and more in favor of the agent. So if you're going to work for a brokerage, and I had this argument with a really good friend of mine, and he's a good dude, and we had a good argument. It wasn't a heated, nasty argument. It was a good argument. And we fought over the fact that they're like, well, Curt, all you guys say all the time is you focus on agents, Curt, and you say it yourself in your words. And what do you always say? I'm going to use your words against you. I said, please do. Wrap me up in my own words, because I'm going to tell you why they're better. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm going to tell you. I said, okay. And he said, you guys are agent centric. You focus on the agent. You don't focus on the client. I said, okay, I'll go with that. 100%. Our brokerage is 100% focused on the agent. And he goes, yeah, see that? That's why at Keller Williams, we're better. We focus on the client. And I said, okay, tell me about that. Walk me down that path. And he's like, I will. And he was feeling good about it. And I kind of just chuckled and I said, I know where this is going.
He's about to walk into a trap, because I can tell you right now, if he's ever been in a room with Gary, Gary's right out of his mouth. He'll tell you every time. He goes, our client is the agent. He goes, and Gary, I've been in rooms where Gary has said this. He goes, I don't give a shit about the end consumer. I only care about my agents. That's it. I wrote the red book, right?
That's
Transition the model, right? Where
Yep.
Glenn was at, where it kind of saw and then applied. Like, come
Yep.
on, man. Like, you want to fall into that Kool-Aid? Well, why don't you go find what the gentleman that created that Kool-Aid, what he believes and what he says.
Yep.
But because
he knows. But the problem is that the agents don't, right? No,
Yeah.
You are the team leader. Curt, I teach our people to focus on the client. I said, well, then let me ask you an honest question. I said, here, take yours, take ours. We only focus on the agent, 100%. You're absolutely right. I said, who gives the better client experience? You, who tells the agent, I want you to focus on your client, or us, who actually focuses on our agents, make sure that we have the happiest agents, the agents make the most amount of money, agents that get paid multiple ways, agents who actually own the company. Do you believe, I asked them, I said, when you had your first bicycle, did your parents buy it for you? He said, yeah. I said, how old were you when you actually either paid for the bike or you bought half the bike and your parents paid part, but you had to pay? When's the first time you had to pay $1 for anything? He's like, I don't know, when I was a kid, my bicycle. I said, okay, your bike, I got you. I said, so how did you treat the bike that your parents bought you when you were riding and you hopped off and let it just roll and smash and fall on the ground? But what happened the first time you paid $1 extra for that bike out of your own pocket? You got off that bike, you stopped, you held it, you put the kickstand down,
usually
you leaned it, you put some rocks under it to make sure that it didn't sink into the dirt or anything if it was wet, to make sure it stayed up. And if anybody knocked that bike over, you're about to take their head off.
Yeah.
But yet, when your parents bought the bike, hey, it's my bike, easy. But when it was yours that you paid for, oh, you're out there ready to beat up your buddy because he knocked your bike over.
You know
it
what?
matters if you own it. I said, no.
It does matter if you own it. This is a great little point right here too, because, I look at the time, right? We were in, and as soon as we were able to get out of that agreement with Caldwell, obviously, Kinder's dad was the broker, so we were tied there. And, we went through a long period of our due diligence, and he was pushing for us to buy the franchise. And we waited really, really hard. And this was a lesson that always stood out to us. And he kept pushing on us, do the math. And so, what's crazy, man, is that we would have bought the franchise. There was 2 years left on the franchise agreement. So in our mind is like, hey, we'll take this over. This is everything we get. And we know 2 years. Caldwell came to us and they said, no, you got to re-sign at least 5. We said, we're out. And so that's when we went independent, because at the time, the EXP wasn't like aware availability. It was in existence, but nobody just knew about it yet. And at that time, the best option was Keller or go independent, period. That was the best option. And we went independent. And this is, I think this is where I want to kind of segue into this, is that when you take full ownership, and especially when you're independent and you own that in your blood, sweat, tears, like fights, like just everything you do, right? You like, it's your baby.
Yeah.
And when you are looking at that and you want to add more value to the things that matter to be able to grow your company, is that you need people. And when you're doing everything you can, Curt, to add more value, but the reality, if you understand business and you move from self-employed to business owner mindset, there's just not enough dollars at the end of the day to add more value back to the agents. There's just not.
Yep.
And so the beautiful thing about EXP is just a platform that gives you more value to be able to plug your business into. And so, like, I understand, because I had the sleepless nights of how am I going to make payroll, that I've got to juggle with, who I've got that's wearing the broker hat, but my liabilities on the point, I'm writing the check for E&O insurance every month. Like I've got some rebels out here that are playing in the gray that like could get me in big time trouble because my name's on the line. Right. And so, there's just a lot of things, man, and you don't understand it. A lot of people don't understand it because they're still living in this self-employed world, and they haven't transitioned. This is agent to CEO, right? They haven't gone from being self-employed to a business owner mindset. They haven't gone there. And when they go there and they understand business and from a CEO perspective and head of company and making those type of decisions, EXP is the biggest no-brainer that there possibly could be because of all the stress that it relieves and it takes off of your plate, right? 16K cap, shit, we were paying more than that in E&O. You know that. You know what that bill is.
You're running a brokerage. It is
my gosh,
not cheap. It isn't. And then the other thing too is, when we start talking about the impact that has on your family, like you just said, the income it directly impacts your family. So you don't have to do everything for money. And you and I both know we want to be in an environment that we feel good about. Well, I don't know. I've always been that guy who I would always bet on me, right? If I had the opportunity to bet on somebody, I want to bet on me. Because I know what I can do and I know what I'm willing to do. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure I have success. So when I look at that and I say, okay, how does that work? Well, what happens is we do what? We pay money, John, and you said it. You got to pay for the insurance, you got to pay for that. But then we got to pay for trainers and coaches. You're a real estate coach, one of the best I've ever met. I say that all the time publicly. I say it in crowds, I say it on stages, and I say it to you because I think you're that good. And you coach in a way that I've learned so many things from because I can implement those things to my agents as well. I can share that information. I've been coached by Johnny Kitchens, I've been coached by some of the best in the business. Everybody's had, seen or heard or been part of Ferry coaching in one part or another. I've been through Sandler's sales. I've been through Bob Schultz's sales and new construction, actually learning about houses, the product that we sell that agents don't know half of. I ask an agent, you ask this agent to 99 out of 100 agents, what's drain tile? And they'll guess, they don't know. They'll say they don't know, or they'll say, is that the tile in the shower where the drain is? No, that's not drain tile. It's the tube, a black tube on the outside of the house. It's around your basement that they put under the ground. So the water, when it comes down the walls of your basement, instead of trying to come in, it goes there and it shoots away and goes to the drains and it trials it away from your house. So we pay for coaching and training all the time. So here you get that automatically when you join this company. You get 7 levels of people. Now, you might have the person who's your friend that brought you to the company who was screaming from the rooftop, oh my God, John, check this out. They might be the best coach in the business, but I promise you, they're going to tell you who the 7 partners you have the day you start. There's 7 levels of partners that you have in this company. You don't pay for that. It's all for free. What is a normal coach going to cost you? I don't know, $500 to $1,000, $2,000 a month. I mean, there's crazy numbers, right? Maybe it's, $50 a day, $50 a week, I don't know. But you can pay $500 to $2,000 to a decent coach who can really teach you something. That's typically what an agent pays. Here, you have 7 business partners the day you start to help coach, train, and teach you everything and share everything with you. If you ever work for a brokerage that you were going to the water cooler and you're that agent that, and I know you've seen this, John, that they hit print in their office and they run, and I mean as fast as they can across the office to get to the copy machine so nobody can see the contract that they just wrote and the client's name and where they are.
Yeah.
That's an insane way to work. Talk about a hostile work environment. You had 7 people right here with you that were actually financially aligned with you to make sure you have massive success. What if you had that and you didn't have to pay for it? You paid nothing because you work with them, you partner with them. That's why people join me. I coach, train, and teach agents every day, and I get to share stuff I learned from John Kitchens. I get to learn stuff, share stuff I learned from John Cheplack. I had him as a coach before. I've had John Kitchens. I've had John Cheplack. I've had, like I said, Schultz and Wickman and all these guys. I've paid for these coaches. I've paid for this stuff to learn it so I can help hand it down. And if we share everything, now you can save them thousands of dollars a month by working and getting thousands of dollars of coaching, training, and collaboration for nothing. Cost you $0 per month. There's a thing in the company called Family Tree. They're not even people that financially make a dime off of me, but yet all of my people can go there and you can click on that barcode, or the QR code, excuse me, and they'll actually help coach, train, teach you, and answer questions for you. There is a massive club. There are 7,000 people or 10,000 people in that group that'll answer questions for you, that can help you out. So an agent that says, I feel abandoned, I feel alone, I always tell them, you certainly can't feel that here. And if you do, then you haven't clicked on a couple buttons, because if you do that, you'll never be alone. There are 7 of us that are financially aligned with you. Think about that, John. You could work for a company here, unlike any other company, where there's 7 people, 7. No other brokerage has this. We have 7 of us, 7, that literally are financially aligned to where I don't make a dime unless I help you make money, John.
Yeah.
What if I had to help you make money? Think about the world. Let's get crazy, right? You saw my story that I did on the Amazon TV show, right? Well, the thing I said at the end of that thing was, imagine a world where nobody got paid any money. There was no compensation until you help somebody else and they got paid first. If they get paid, then and only then would the company pay you. But you had to help them make money first. As long as they had success and they made money, then the company pays you too. What if you had to help somebody first? We could change the world, John. If everybody had to help somebody else first. This company, Glenn designed a company that was made exactly for that purpose. You help somebody have success and I will pay you for that. Now you have the best coaches, trainers, and mentors in the business, all in one place, and giving it for free to help you. Now you want special one-on-ones and you want all my time. Okay, great. We can set up a deal, right, John? Somebody could pay you, right? And you'll literally give them one-on-one. You'll give them special time, right?
100%. And I mean, that's a little more specialized, diving a little bit deeper, but for the general like consensus,
yes,
the collaboration is there. And I think what's cool is you get people out of their silos, right? And typically what happens in those silos is that you think, oh, I got to protect this, and there ain't nothing to protect. It's all out there, right? But what's happened is that the compensation model, right? Compensation drives behavior. And when you get compensation aligned correctly, then the collaboration opens up and you don't have to operate inside of a silo. And it just allows for things to progress faster, things to happen, so much smoother and free flowing and in a way that actually matters.
It does. And that's how you create your wealth components, by surrounding yourself by those people, John. You nailed it. And that's what this is right here. And I'll end with this. The wealth components are simple. You now, if you do what you just said, John, and you collaborate with these people, you now have 7 business partners sharing everything that they do, the best practices out there, and success rewards them, right? They reward the ones who duplicate. And if you have a duplicatable process, others can do the same thing. If you're the reason, you said it earlier, right? If your personality is what drives that business, then somebody can't buy that business because they can't buy you. You don't come with it, right?
Right.
Now the business fails. And this is why so many businesses fail. Because it's that person that drives that business, not the duplication of the processes or systems. So if you have the system in place and trust the process provides, but you've got to have a duplicatable process. So you need that. You need equity opportunity. We talked about that. Now you can have that passive income that comes with the stock rewards. That's just there. I don't have to do anything for it. I just do what I already do. And I get these things. Then you get multiple streams of income that come alive by the commissions that you get, because you get 100% plus money. Then you can have the stock rewards. And then because you've grown your own business, which also grows the company's business, then they'll let you share in that revenue. So that's how that works. And if you want to really see one of the coolest things, John, and I already know that you're going to be there as well, my friend, Chris Voss is going to be there. Some of the biggest players in the entire country, in our industry and outside of our industry. I've got mega speakers coming to the Build event, and they can come and join us. If you want to collaborate and learn how to do everything we just talked about, get your butt into this room. Get your room to any room you can get into where you're collaborating. But this room is going to be 2 days, chock full, August 1st, August 2nd of this year, 2024. That is going to knock it out of the park. You're going to have John Kitchens actually giving you free coaching on a stage, teaching you everything you want to know how to make a ton of money. Me, you don't have to listen to. I'll be emceeing it. So you're going to see me introducing guys like John Kitchen, people like Chris Voss. Never split the difference. This guy's a beast. John, he's one of your faves. He's absolutely one of my incredible faves. I've become friends with this guy. It's insane. The circles that opens up to. You and I talk about those things. Imagine being in a room with this guy, having a VIP ticket where you get to meet and greet him, you get to take a picture with him, get his autograph, you can talk to this guy and get in that community. This is how this thing is done. This is how our company sets apart from everybody else having these collaborative groups with the best of the best sharing everything.
Yeah, I love it. Voss is amazing. I mean, he's to me, inside of your real estate career, one of the things that you do that you really bring value, and we know because we know sellers want you to fight for them, buyers want you to fight for them a little bit.
Right.
It's not their main priority. It's not what they value the most, but they do value. I want to see that you're willing to fight for me. I'm willing to see that you negotiate for me. And Voss's book, and I believe it so much, right? We took all of through all the certified negotiation expert training courses and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like I believed in it so much. Like, and this is back in short sale days, even we were still running REOs. Our coordinators, our transaction coordinators, they all had to go through this certified negotiation training, which was fantastic. It was one of my favorite trainings that I ever sat in and went through, just because I knew how valuable it was in anything that we do to be able to the right way to truly negotiate. And then Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, comes along and, just takes it to a whole nother level. And so having him at the event, I know, like you said, you've become, really good friends with him and
I got to write a book with him.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Leadership. So it's really, really amazing, really cool.
But it's what you said, negotiating. So continue on that, because you're spot on, bro.
I just think it's super key, super important to be able to have. And so, being able to have the opportunity to be in the room, with somebody like him, that I believe, you can learn so much. That is such a critical component, and really where we change the outcome inside of business, and just being able to have that skill set is being able to negotiate at a high level. And so it's cool that he's going to be there.
Think about it. I negotiate against him. The best negotiator teaches negotiation to get him here. Right.
Uh-huh.
And you know what it is? It's the relationships, John. And that's what does everything. Like anything you ever ask, my answer is always yes, because you're John Kitchens and I would never say no to you. And I know the value of being in circles with you and being in rooms with you and the people that you connect people to. You're a big connector. I'm a big connector now. Being in the rooms with the Chris Vosses, that's a whole different group of people. And what a fun group that is, right? And you and I have people outside of our world of real estate that we both have as mutual friends. And these are some really connected, powerful people. And that is such a fun world to be in. People ask you all the time, and I know you get asked that too. How do I get in the rooms with these people? You just walk in the door.
Just get in. There's always a way.
Show up.
One of my favorite books, and the concept is The Third Door. And he basically uses the example of life is like a nightclub, right? You can go stand in line and wait in line and never get in. That's the front door. Then there's the side door, which is the you got to be VIP, you got to be of status, or you got to buy your way in. That's the side door. And then what the concept is that there's a third door, meaning there's always a way in.
Yeah.
And that could be, sneaking through a window, that could be sneaking back through the storage entrance, that could be doing something, but there's always another way in.
Yeah.
And, I think early on, if you can, sometimes out of necessity, we have to be that creative. But no matter what, right? Even as the status moves, freedom rooms, legacy rooms, things that you're able to get into, there's always another room, right? There's always a bigger room.
Yeah.
And so there's just, how do you get in, right? Just figure out a way. When you want to, and you want it bad enough, you just figure out a way to get in the room. It doesn't matter. No,
that's exactly right. And then be strategic, and we talk about, like you said, the nightclub. So I'll give you a nightclub example. And way back in my much younger days, when we went to the nightclubs, we went there typically we went there to meet girls. I mean, we went there because we wanted to meet somebody, right? So what would I do with my buddies? We'd go in, like, oh, I know you're going to want to go over there by the bathrooms. I'm like, absolutely. We stand where you can see everything, the closest you can get where you can still see everything, to the women's bathroom. Why? Because every girl at the club walks in there and checks their hair and checks their makeup and checks their stuff 15 times an hour when they're there. So they're constantly going in and out of that room. Guess where I'm standing? Really close to that room. So they have
impressions.
now I can accidentally bump into them because that's where I'm standing, right? Yeah. So now I can, make them cross my path. And the thing is again, I was just putting myself in the right room. Well, we're in this giant room. I put myself in the right place in that room. So that way, strategically, I know they have to walk by me and there's a better chance I might get that conversation if I happen to be in front of them than if I'm across the room trying to get them look at me and just fall in love with my dashing looks. They were never going to do that. These looks never got them to go, oh my God, that's the one. I wasn't turning heads. But what I could do is I could make them smile if I get them to talk to me. I can make them laugh if I got them to talk to me. I would always come up with some excuse to ask them something, to say something, or just to compliment them. And if you do this and you ask very influential people when you're in those rooms a question about them, what are their 3 favorite people still? Me, myself, and I. It doesn't change. It's always their 3 favorite people. So ask them about them. Ask them about something they've done. Tell them something you know about something you did, and then ask them, I read that book you did, and one of the things that was in it was this. I just thought that was intriguing. Can you tell me more about that? What made you think that? They can't wait to tell you about that, and they don't have to think about it, and you're never going to make them look silly because it's not, you're asking them something that they have to try to remember that. These are things that they know. Remember, the truth shall set you free, because the truth is always there. You don't have to remember the truth. If you lie, you got to remember the rest of your life, right? That's hard. You can't remember lies because they're not true. They're not just there. Truth always is. So when you're talking to people, ask them about something that's important to them, not you, right? MOPFI, MOPFI, make other people feel important. They want to be the same, but don't go, oh my God, I'm your biggest fan, John. Like, oh my God, I think you're so great. Like, I'm just so glad to be in the room. Oh God, I can't breathe. You're just so amazing. Oh my God, can I have your autograph? Don't do that. Don't do that. You might get it. You can still get their autograph if you want it, get a picture with them, whatever. But it's first, ask them a question about them. Ask them about something that matters to them. And now you're in those rooms, and guess what happens? Sometimes you're like, you know what? I really like you. I've got to be over here. Do you want to come over here? Yes, I do. Yes, there's always.
Let's go.
Yes, I do. And that's how this really works. And then you start listening and implement the stuff you learn. So you've taught me so many things, John. I implement it with my teams, my coaching students, even just other people in life in general. And then I always reference it back to you, right? We all think we have to take credit. I don't take credit for anything. I tell them I haven't invented anything, right? I take the best of other people's stuff that I get it through my weird brain, and I make it so it comes out to me, so it's natural to me. And that's how I become Curt. Well, Curt's a byproduct of 20 other people who really had a lot of influence on me, and that's where you come from. But now it's genuine because that's who I am. But I thank you so much for everything you do, John. What you do for everybody. These courses, these videos, they're freaking incredible. I watch so many of them to learn from the other people that are your guests. All right.
Amazing stuff, man. And, I knew today was going to be fantastic, like always. And so I can't thank you enough for carving out the time, jumping in, really, like I said at the beginning, really embodying what this whole Expert Mentor series has been about, and really living to it. And can't thank you enough. And I know for sure we will definitely do it again. Yeah,
we will. And hopefully anybody watching can use these things. Nothing I talked about was rev share, right? These are the reasons people should be here. Just on the collaboration piece, just on the stock ownership, the equity, being part of something, you get to own the company. How much do you want to work at a place you own? I mean, there's so many reasons to be here. So, John, thank you again, my friend. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Guys, thank you. We'll see you guys next time. See you.